Hola a todo el mundo y bienvenido a mi canal. Yo me llamo Sade. Solo voy a dar la tira licenciada practicando la ley criminal, pero como todos ustedes, a mí me fascina cuando estamos hablando de casos de crímenes reales. En este video vamos a hablar del caso de Karmelo Anthony. Si quieren más video en español, nada más dime allá abajo. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Desiree. I'm a licensed and practicing Afro-Latina criminal attorney who, much like the rest of you, has a severe fascination with true crime cases. Listen, a few preliminary things that we need to discuss before we get into this video. One, I'm sure you guys saw my little nub roll versus my little hand rub. And that's because my flight got canceled and my nail appointment got canceled. And I'm just in complete and utter treachery. Okay? Just in case you guys were wondering. Second, this case has the nation completely divided. This is the case that has people questioning whether or not race plays an important factor. This is a case that is absolutely heart-wrenching. This case is absolutely devastating. It's terrible. It's tragic. It's absolutely horrible. And this is the case of Karmelo Anthony. Before we get started on what Karmelo is alleged to have done, let's talk about the alleged victim of his crime. And the reason I'm saying alleged is because all charges are still pending and there has been no conviction. So let's make that clear. But the alleged victim of Karmelo's crime is Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf was born on July 31st of 2007 and was merely 17 years old at the time of his passing. Austin was absolutely brilliant. He attended Memorial High School in Frisco, Texas, where he excelled academically, earning a 3.9 grade point average. Aside from his brilliant academic mind, Austin was also able to excel athletically, and he was named the MVP linebacker of his school's football team, and he also participated in track and field. Aside from being a brilliant and beautiful boy who excelled both academically and athletically, Austin was a huge family person. He had a really, really close relationship with his father, Jeff Metcalf, as well as his twin brother, Hunter Metcalf. In fact, Austin and Hunter were so extraordinarily close that both of them were on the same football team for Memorial High School. Would Austin be here today? This beautiful baby would have graduated high school in 2026. And like I said, Austin isn't here today. And let's talk about the reason why that is. That is another beautiful, brilliant boy by the name of Karmelo Anthony. Although I couldn't find an exact date of birth, Karmelo was also 17 years old, and he was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, before his family moved to Frisco, Texas. Karmelo was the eldest of 4 children, and he worked 2 part-time jobs to help his family make ends meet. Karmelo attended a different high school than Austin. He attended Centennial High School that was also located in Frisco, Texas, and much like Austin, Karmelo also excelled academically. He had a 3.7 grade point average. Although Karmelo's GPA wasn't quite as high as Austin's, it was still impressive nonetheless. Again, and much like Austin, Karmelo excelled athletically as well. Karmelo was captain of Centennial High School's football and track and field teams. I'm going to say this next statement unapologetically, but I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for it. By everything I was able to review and everything that I saw, it appeared that Karmelo was a good kid too, much like Austin. Karmelo excelled academically. Karmelo excelled athletically. He was working 2 part-time jobs to help his family. But unfortunately, Karmelo made a decision, not a mistake. He made a decision that'll impact his life forever. On Wednesday, April 2nd of 2025, at approximately 10 a.m., Karmelo was at Memorial High School for a track and field championship event. And remember what I said, Karmelo didn't attend Memorial High School, Austin did. So he was at Austin's high school for a track and field championship event. In case you missed the date, I'm going to say it again. April 2nd of 2025. Right now, we just started July, so that merely happened 3 months ago. The event was delayed due to heavy rain and thunderstorms, and Karmelo went to go take cover under Austin's track team's tent. Austin's twin brother Hunter saw Karmelo under the tent and told him to move. When Karmelo refused, Austin intervened and a verbal altercation took place between the two. I'm going to just do a quick side note right here. I am just speculating, but I believe the reason that Karmelo went to go sit under that tent was because it was raining. I'm not saying that makes it right. And in fact, I wasn't a huge sports person in high school and college, but I asked a bunch of attorney friends of mine who were. And I asked them if they saw a rival school sitting under their tent, if that would be problematic. And unequivocally, everyone said yes. So in case you're just like me and you just wanted some context or background, that's a big deal and a big no-no. During the exchange of words, Karmelo allegedly told Austin, "Touch me and see what happens," while placing his hand inside of his backpack. In a police officer's report that I read, a witness to the event stated that they didn't believe that Karmelo was a real threat or had anything on him. So Austin indeed did push him, and Karmelo fell to the bleachers. At that point, Karmelo got up off the bleachers and told Austin, "Punch me and see what happens." Austin didn't punch him, but he did push him again. And at that point, Karmelo reached into his backpack, grabbed a black knife, stabbed Austin once in the chest with it, and ran away. After the stabbing, Austin ran down the bleachers holding his chest and trying to get assistance. But unfortunately, assistance wouldn't arrive in time. When officers responded, they came in pretty deep. 14 of them responded to the event, and I wanted to tell you that, because in case it makes a difference to any of you guys, kind of the way it made to me. The 14 officers that responded were Officer Eduardo Cortez, Officer Allison Ritchie, Officer Will Otis, Officer Taylor Wetzel, Officer Jerry Hancock, Officer Alvin Fisher, Officer Mike Crawford, Officer Jacob Shawls, Officer Kyle Pemberton, Officer Justin Newton, Officer Andrew Higgins, Officer Thomas Craig, Officer Alejandro Aviles, and Officer Joshua Miller. Officer Cortez was the primary officer responding to this incident. When he approached Karmelo, Karmelo made a number of concerning statements. First, Karmelo said, "I was protecting myself." Then Karmelo said, "He put his hands on me." And when Officer Cortez phoned the other officers to inform them that he had the alleged suspect, Karmelo responded, "I'm not alleged, I did it." Also, when Officer Cortez was transporting Karmelo to the jail, he allegedly asked Officer Cortez if Austin was going to be okay. Karmelo was ultimately taken into custody without incident, and he was transported to the Collin County Jail in McKinney, Texas. If we haven't talked about it before, without incident is merely police speak to say that the suspect didn't give them any problems. So Karmelo didn't resist arrest, he wasn't talking back, he wasn't rude or combative with officers. He just went in custody in peace. After his arrest, Collin County Judge Angela Tucker originally set Karmelo's bond at $1 million, but later reduced it to $250,000. With the new lowered bond, and with the support of his family and friends, Karmelo was ultimately able to post bond, and he remains free, pending disposition of this case. It was later reported that Karmelo and his family had to move, due to harassment and consistent death threats. On June 24th of 2025, Karmelo was indicted for murder. We've talked about this before, but an indictment is just a legal mechanism that the prosecution can use should they choose to bring charges against an individual. It's weird to me because I saw a lot of different news articles and outlets talking about how this was just such a huge deal that he was indicted, and I think quite frankly the opposite. It's just a normal course of business. Of course he's going to get indicted, he killed someone, allegedly, at this point. Before we talk about the legality of all of this, and before I give you my opinions on what happened here, Austin's father, Jeff, has given numerous interviews expressing his deepest sadness for the passing of his beautiful baby boy, and also expressing his forgiveness to Karmelo.
Austin obviously is the son, and also Hunter, who you're talking about here.
Yes, sir.
Walk me through who Austin was to you. I know that you've said so much about him, I think, in the last 24 hours here. Everyone else has said a lot about him, too, about how great of a kid he was. In your eyes, though, just as a father, who was he to you?
My boys are the biggest blessing in my life. God provided them to me. God's going to get me through this. I had a dream last night. And Austin came to me and said, I'm okay. It gives me peace. Doesn't mean I don't hurt, but it gives me great peace. So, one of the things, my son, Hunter, his ability to stay strong is a character to his brother. His brother, they had each other's back. They were tight. I've never seen a bond like that. Being identical twins, technically Austin was his big brother. Those boys were my everything. I had cancer almost 10 years ago. I wasn't supposed to live, but that was my why, to fight. And without those boys, I probably would have succumbed and gave in. But they were in my heart, and I fought hard because I wanted to be their father. I wanted to be there for them throughout the years they grow up, and so I can share my wisdom and share my mistakes so they won't do the same. Austin was an outstanding athlete, person, friend, loyal, loving. He would light up the room. He was such a leader naturally. On that team, he would fire those guys up. He would step on that field and he would become a totally different person. His level of play was above most everyone else. He led the team. He was voted team MVP by his coaches and teammates. He's had multiple coaches, colleges contacting. He is one of the most outstanding, him and his brother both have been athletes all their lives, from soccer to baseball to jiu-jitsu to football. They did it all, and they excelled every time. And I told them, you guys are so lucky because not everyone has your talent, but you have to make sure you take that talent and harness it in the right way. And Austin was able to harness many things in his life. Loyalty to his brother, his love for all his friends and family. He was such an outstanding young man. I was so proud. I bragged on my children all the time. Anyone who knows me knows how much my kids meant to me. They were my entire world. My world's a little shattered, but I still have Hunter, and I always have Austin.
I know that the last day has just been gut-wrenching for you and your family. You've spoken, obviously, to a couple of other outlets. I know Hunter's leaving. Do you need to say goodbye? Or?
No, I told him we're good.
Okay. We haven't really had a chance to talk to you about this. You had mentioned a few times that you had forgiven the suspect for what
correct.
He did.
I do.
But we just informed you about these documents. And
that doesn't change anything. Okay. This has to do with me and God. God teaches us in the Bible. He talks about forgiveness. He also talks about revenge. Not for me to seek. God will take care of it. Karma, I believe in it. It's very unfortunate that this other child decided to make a bad choice that's going to affect him for the rest of his life. I have compassion for every human being. This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this. I don't appreciate some of the remarks I've seen online that people say there was this fight and they don't know. They weren't there. I know the truth. So, unless you were there, unless you saw it, don't spread gossip.
The thing that really struck me of your comments earlier today was your faith, the community rallying to your family, and your forgiveness at a time of deep personal pain, given your bond between you and both of your sons, but the son you lost. Your message to America tonight about faith and forgiveness in tragedy.
Okay, well, I'm deeply rooted in my faith. And without the Lord, I would not be blessed with my sons. I would not have the ability to be able to forgive. The thing about forgiveness is this. I don't forgive for the other person. I forgive for my own peace. I can't carry that around me. It would be like cancer. It would eat me up inside. So the Lord teaches us to forgive. Now, am I angry? Yes, I'm human. But I have to live with myself, so I have to forgive. And I'd like to tell what the world needs is more kind people. And if you can't find one, be one.
If I didn't already say this, a lot of people are trying to portray this case as one based on race. And Austin's father, Jeff, publicly denounced the leader of a white supremacist group who stated that that was exactly the case.
Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today. Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. Do not have any.
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk. Let me finish. I gave you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir.
I couldn't agree with Jeff more. I pride myself in telling you guys my unfiltered thoughts and opinions. And if a case is related to race, I feel like I tell you guys that. But I don't think just because two people are individuals of different races, that means that this case is based on race. For example, as of right now, my most watched video is Sade Robinson's murder. Maxwell Anderson is white. I want you to go back into that video and tell me at any point where I talked about Maxwell's race. I'll wait. I don't think that case was about race. Maxwell wanted to date Sade. He wanted some melanated brown skin chocolate beauty. That's what he wanted in his life. I am speculating, but I feel that what probably happened is that Maxwell took Sade home after the bar started making advances towards her, and because she said no, he killed her. That has nothing to do with him being white. I think he's a psychopath because he's a psychopath. I don't think he's a psychopath because he's white. So I want that to be clear. I don't want you guys to sit here and think, well, listen, Desiree only defends Black victims and she only defends Black defendants, because that is not true. I stand for justice for everyone. That being said, I don't think that this is a case based on race. I think Karmelo's an idiot. Just a damn fool. Just stupid, dumb, made poor choices, and look at you now. This beautiful boy is gone, and you about to potentially spend the rest of your life in prison. The choices that were made here were ill thought out. They were stupid, they were silly, they were asinine, disrespectful, just anything I can think of. But I don't think they were racially motivated. As it stands now, I have yet to read anything in any police report that I've read that said that Karmelo stabbed Austin and said something to the effect of some racial slur towards him. I don't think there was anything that I read that said anything about someone of Karmelo's own race approaching him. Because I think if that were the case, he would have stabbed them too. You know what it was to me? Y lo voy a decir en español. Es que es como estamos jugando un juego de quién es más macho. You know what I'm saying? I think that they were playing a game of who's the toughest. 17-year-old male bravado. These athletes. Oh, I'm going to prove my point to him. I think that's what it was. It was stupid. It was unfortunate. It was ill thought out. Because of Karmelo's actions, the Metcalf family will have to live without their beautiful son for the rest of life. All that said, alleged actions still ending. All that said, other than these boys' skin color, I'm trying to figure out why everyone's trying to divide people even more. In addition to Austin's family speaking out, Karmelo's mother, Kayla Hayes, did a press conference where she talked about the impacts of Karmelo's actions on her family.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution, we believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
This is another topic that I thought was really interesting because when I was reading the comments about it, a lot of people were acting as if Karmelo's mother was playing the victim. I've said this in prior videos and I want you guys to go back and quote me. I think it is silly for people to assume that because a family member of yours commits a heinous criminal act that you disagree with, that you're going to disassociate with people for life. I've talked about this in numerous cases, and the one I can specifically remember right now is the case of Jordan Henning. And if you guys will remember, Jordan Henning was the white military man who was acquitted by an all-white Kentucky jury of the heinous murder of his black wife. Do I think that one had a racial component to it? Yeah. But do I fault Jordan's mother for testifying on her son's behalf in the sentencing reduction hearing? Absolutely not. No matter what, that is your son. So I feel the same way here, specifically for Karmelo's mother. She is another unfortunate victim of this. Her family is an unfortunate victim of this. And so is the Metcalf family. Both families are, in essence, having their lives changed horribly because of what Kayla's son Karmelo did. I have said this numerous times and in different ways throughout this video, but hear me when I say it again. Karmelo made a dumb decision that impacted his life for the rest of it. It killed Austin. He murdered someone who should have been here. And on top of that, he's going to face the criminal ramifications for what he did. I'm not excusing him, and I'm not excusing his actions, and I'm not excusing his behavior, but I empathize with his family. So let's talk a little bit about Karmelo's indictment. I tried to look online to see if I could find it, much like I did the Diddy indictment, but I was unable to. So it's my understanding that Texas operates a little differently than some of the other states. I say that because in a lot of states, you'll see murders classified by degrees, like first-degree murder, second-degree murder, manslaughter, whatever. It's not the same in Texas. It's my understanding that Texas has two categories of murder. That's just murder and capital murder. And Karmelo was indicted on murder charges. Let's go through the statute so you can understand why. According to Texas Penal Code Section 1902, a person commits the offense of murder if the person, 1, intentionally or knowingly causes the death of an individual. 2, the person intends to cause serious bodily injury and commits an act clearly dangerous to human life that causes the death of an individual. And 3, commits or attempts to commit a felony other than manslaughter, and in the course of and in furtherance of the commission or attempt, or in immediate flight from the commission or attempt, the person commits or attempts to commit an act clearly dangerous to human life that causes the death of an individual. Per statute, Texas classifies this as a first-degree felony. Let's talk about why Karmelo was not charged with capital murder instead. Per Texas Penal Code Section 1903, capital murder occurs when A, a person commits an offense if the person commits murder as defined under Section 1902b1, and 1, the person murders a peace officer or fireman who is acting in the lawful discharge of an official duty and who the person knows is a peace officer or fireman. 2, the person intentionally commits the murder in the course of committing or attempting to commit kidnapping, burglary, robbery, aggravated sexual assault, arson, obstruction or retaliation, or terroristic threat under Section 2207. 3, the person commits murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration, or employs another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration. 4, the person commits the murder while escaping or attempting to escape from a penal institution. 5, the person, while incarcerated in a penal institution, murders another, A, who is employed in the operation of the penal institution, or B, with the intent to establish, maintain, or participate in a combination or in the profits of a combination. 6, the person, A, while incarcerated for an offense under this section or Section 1902, murders another, or B, while serving a sentence of life imprisonment or a term of 99 years for an offense under specific subsections. 7, the person murders more than one person, A, during the same criminal transaction, or B, during different criminal transactions, but the murders are committed pursuant to the same scheme or course of conduct. 8, the person murders an individual under 10 years of age. 9, the person murders an individual 10 years of age or older, but younger than 15 years of age. Or 10, the person murders another person in retaliation for or on account of the service or status of the other person as a judge or justice of the Supreme Court, the Court of Criminal Appeals, a Court of Criminal Appeals, a district court, a criminal district court, a constitutional county court, a statutory county court, a justice court, or a municipal court. And further, an offense under this section is a capital felony. I hope that going through it sheds some light as to why Karmelo was charged with just murder and not capital murder. But specifically, Karmelo's actions didn't fall under any of the enumerated subsections. For example, Karmelo wasn't incarcerated in a penal institution. Karmelo did not commit this crime while in the commission of another criminal transaction. Austin wasn't under 10 years of age. Austin wasn't under 15 years of age. Stuff like that. And don't quote me specifically. I'm spitballing based on what I remember. But because these actions didn't fall into that specific or any of those specific categories, that's why he was just charged with murder. I have been hearing a lot that Karmelo is claiming that his actions were done in self-defense. I mean, he even told the police officer, Officer Cortez, that he did it to protect himself. So let's go through the self-defense statute under Texas Penal Codes to see if his actions qualify. Texas Penal Code Section 9.31 defines self-defense. A person is justified in using force against another when and to the degree the actor reasonably believes the force is immediately necessary to protect the actor against the other's use or attempted use of unlawful force. The actor's belief that the force was immediately necessary as described by this subsection is presumed to be reasonable if the actor, 1, knew or had reason to believe that the person against whom the force was used, A, unlawfully and with force entered or was attempting to enter unlawfully and with force the actor's occupied habitation, vehicle, or place of business or employment. B, unlawfully and with force removed or was attempting to remove unlawfully and with force the actor from the actor's habitation, vehicle, or place of business or employment. Or C, was committing or attempting to commit aggravated kidnapping, murder, sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, robbery, or aggravated robbery. 2, did not provoke the person against whom the force was used. And 3, was not otherwise engaged in criminal activity other than a Class C misdemeanor that is a violation of a law or ordinance regulating traffic at the time the force was used. B, the use of force against another is not justified, 1, in response to verbal provocation alone, 2, to resist an arrest or search that the actor knows is being made by a peace officer or by a person acting in a peace officer's presence and at his direction, even though the arrest or search is unlawful, unless the resistance is justified under subsection C. 3, if the actor consented to the exact force used or attempted by the other. 4, if the actor provoked the other's use or attempted use of unlawful force, unless A, the actor abandons the encounter or clearly communicates to the other his intent to do so, reasonably believing he cannot safely abandon the encounter, and B, the other nevertheless continues or attempts to use unlawful force against the actor, or 5, if the actor sought an explanation from or discussion with the other person concerning the actor's differences with the other person while the actor was A, carrying a weapon in violation of section 4602, or B, possessing or transporting a weapon in violation of section 4605. Unless I'm missing something, Karmelo's actions absolutely don't qualify as self-defense. Do I think it is reasonable for him to state that? I mean, sure. I think a reasonable and diligent and effective defense attorney will argue self-defense. That is nothing for anyone to be upset about, please. I think generally speaking, you have to argue what your client gives you. Your client is telling you that they believe that their actions were justified in self-defense. It might not fit the actual legal definition of it, but I'm not sure it's improper for a defense attorney to make the argument nonetheless. The prosecution has a very strong case based on what we just read, that this was nowhere near self-defense. They can go through the elements, they can go through everything with the jurors and explain, hey, this isn't self-defense. And I say jurors presuming this goes to trial because it might not. Karmelo's actions were destructive. They were terrible. They were horrible, selfish, stupid, silly, and dumb. They were deadly. Because of Karmelo's alleged actions, Austin is not here with us today. This is a case that I want to keep up with and see if it proceeds to trial or if Karmelo accepts a plea deal or if he pleads straight to the indictment. And I will let you guys know about everything that's going on here. If you guys would like that update or if you guys just liked this video, go ahead and comment down below and let me know. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, y'all take care.